everybody, my name is Emma and this is Emma Rose and Books, and today I'm doing the Dilemmas of a Book Nerd tag. I was tagged to do this by Charlie Heathcote, so I'll leave a link to his video below. And the original was by Lindsay's Little Library, so I'll leave a link to that below as well. But when I saw that Charlie had tagged me, I thought the questions were really good, so I thought I'd give this one a go this week. So, they're dilemmas rather than questions. Dilemma number one, book storage. How do you store and organise your books? I think for a book lover I don't have loads and loads of books. I've talked about this before. I think I only hold on to books if I think I'm going to read them again or if I particularly love them. So I do have a lot of books that I read and then give to the charity shop. So therefore, yeah, I don't have lots and lots. So I've got one bookcase. I was going to film by my bookcase today, but it's a bit dark in there. The washing machine's on and yeah, it's just better in this space. I will insert some footage of my bookcase. And a friend of mine made this for me. It was made to my specifications of what books I had at the time, and at the time I had a lot more of the smaller paperbacks. So I'm thinking, because I don't have so many anymore, that I'm going to maybe put some of my books on their side. So I generally, first of all, sort my books by size. So I've got a number of shelves that are for the smaller paperbacks, then I have some shelves that are for the larger size paperbacks, and then I have some that are suitable for hardbacks and for like large, tall books of various kinds. So that obviously I'm limited where I can put books because I have different size shelves. I then have everything organised by books that kind of go together, so I have series together, and I also, my non-fiction books, put topics together. So my breastfeeding books are all together, my marine biology books are all together, my craft books are together, and that's it really. I don't do it by colour or by, I might keep an author's books together, but I don't do it in like alphabetical order or anything like that. And I'm really appreciative that I have this awesome bespoke bookcase, because I had so many problems with bookcases getting broken. Don't know if any of you have that problem where because I've got quite a lot of heavy books that the shelves would always end up buckling. I even had one bookcase collapse under the weight of my books. So being able to have one that I know is really, really sturdy, solid wood, is really beautiful. I absolutely love it, so I'm so grateful for that. I do have other books in my house. I've got 3 kids and they each have their own bookcase. They have like the big Kallax shelves. So my youngest has got all of her, that's IKEA by the way, my youngest has got all the picture, like the board books, sorry. She's just coming up for 2, her birthday's on Sunday. And then my older daughter, who is 6.5, she's got all the picture books, and she's just starting to get into chapter books. She quite likes Enid Blyton, and so she's just starting to get a bit of a collection of those, and then the picture books will go down to my youngest. My eldest has mostly chapter books. He loves Harry Potter, he loves Diary of a Wimpy Kid, and he loves David Walliams as well, so he has a lot of those. And then he also has a few picture books that he's held on to because he really likes them, not many, and I guess things like comics and yeah, that kind of stuff. So they have all their own. I've got a bit of a stack in here of my TBR books. And then, let me think if there are any more. I have cookbooks, which is in another lovely bookcase made by a friend of mine, because I needed it to fit in a particular spot, so he made me another one. Yeah, I think that's all the books that I have. Maybe. Dilemma number 2, tracking. How do you keep track of what you have read and what books you own? So I don't track the books that I own because I don't have so many that I don't know what's there. Yeah, I think I can just look at one bookcase and figure it out. I don't feel the need to have like a record of what there is. But in terms of what I've read, I have a bullet journal and I have a list in here of what I've read. I actually have got a bit rubbish lately at remembering to write them down when I finish them, and I suddenly find like a month has gone by and I haven't written everything down, but I do keep track in there. But predominantly I use Goodreads, so when I finish a book I put it on there. I write usually a 1 or 2 sentence review on there, and then I review in more detail on this channel and also occasionally on my blog. So yeah, Goodreads, the link's below if you want to follow me, is kind of probably my main way of keeping a record of what I've read. Dilemma number 3, borrow. Do you lend your books out? Yeah, I'm not that precious about my books. I think books are made to be read, and yeah, I've got no problem with someone borrowing them. I think people are generally careful, and you know, the other thing is, if accidents happen, I've had people give books back to me and say, oh, it got a bit damaged, and I'm like, it's fine, you know, it means it got read, which is what it's for. So I personally am not precious about my books. I mean, I take care of them, I don't like trash them or anything, but when you read a book, you know, the spine will get broken most likely, because there's only so much you can do to avoid that, and the pages will get thumbed, and the book will not, you know, you can tell when a book's been read, and that's fine. Actually, a lot of my books are secondhand anyway, so I don't mind. If generally books that I'm lending out I've already read anyway, so they're already in a read condition, but yeah, I've got no problem. And I mean, occasionally I don't get a book back, but most people are fine with it, and you know, they're only books, sorry. I know that's probably a terrible thing to say, but if a book doesn't find its way back home, then that's fine. It really is. I could always get another copy if I really, really want it. Yeah, I don't mind. Some of my friends borrow some of my non-fiction stuff occasionally, and my mother-in-law borrows my fiction books, and so does my sister-in-law, and my mum does occasionally. I don't know, people come around and say, oh, they spot one of my books and say, can I borrow it? And yeah, it's fine. I don't mind. Dilemma number 4, buying. How do you buy or acquire your books? I actually predominantly buy things secondhand. I buy them in charity shops a lot. I know that as somebody who writes books, I kind of have I'm a little bit uncomfortable with it, purely because obviously I want people to buy my book. So people buying secondhand books, I think the thing is, it's somebody still reading it, and especially if they end up reviewing it or messaging you to say that they liked it, or, you know, at the end of the day it's fine. I always think there's a certain amount of irony in being a writer and buying secondhand books, but I do not have lots of money, and I like reading. And equally, if you're buying books from a charity shop, then you're benefiting the charity, so... And I give books to charity shops, so I don't know, I think it's okay. But yeah, I do buy a lot of my books from charity shops. I also buy books online at various places, tend to kind of try and get a decent price for them. I particularly buy books online that are non-fiction when they're ones that are quite hard to get hold of, because I mean, for example, breastfeeding books, some of the ones that I read are not that well known, and so you're not going to be that likely to find a second-hand copy. Or sometimes even the second-hand ones are the same amount of money, or they're more, which seems a bit crazy sometimes. So yeah, a lot of those I buy new. Also, sometimes books, yeah, sometimes they're just not that cheap second-hand. Sometimes if it's new out or it's really popular at the moment, you may as well buy it new. So it does vary, but I predominantly do buy second-hand books at the charity shop. Dilemma number 5, comments. How do you respond to the "how do you read so much" comments or similar comments? I don't get it that much. It's funny, I think people in the bookish community, for them, I don't read that fast. I probably read an average of about 4 or 5 books a month, which I don't think is particularly fast. But then to people who don't read a lot, I think that seems like a lot. And when we talk about books, and I've read a lot of the books that we're talking about, and I think because I'm quite busy as well, so the fact that I've fitted in reading, but then if you're into books, then you do, because your leisure time is often spent reading, and I'll have a book in my bag, so if I'm somewhere and I'm waiting for something, then I'll read. It's not a comment I get very much, but how do I respond? I don't know. I just say that I like reading. I like it. It's what I do in my spare time. So yeah, I'm not I mean, if you look at Dane reads and see how much he reads, now he reads a lot, but me not so much. Dilemma number 6, next book. How do you pick your next read? Generally, I just look at my books and decide what I want to read next. Sometimes I have something lined up that I've bought because I really want to read it. Because sometimes I just go and browse books and buy things that I think I might like to read in the future. But obviously other times I have something in mind, which actually is often when I do buy them new. So if I've got something that I've specifically bought, then I generally want to read that right away. Otherwise, yeah, I'll just look at my bookcase and kind of think, what do I fancy? Because different moods, you want to read different things. I mean, for instance, at the moment I've just read a couple of not super long books, but, well, actually no, they weren't that long. I read, Seagulls, seriously. I read Atonement, which was not long, but I found hard work because I just didn't really get on with it, and I know people love it, but Just personally, I found it hard going. And then I read Good Omens, which I really enjoy. I'll review these in my wrap up. But, I mean, it's not super long, but it's like over 400 pages, which, because a lot of paperbacks are 300 pages, it's just that extra 100 pages takes a bit longer. And I think because I've read 2 books that just took that little bit more time, I'd quite like to read something that's a real easy read next. So sometimes it's things like that, sometimes I just fancy a particular topic. I've got lined up a book about oceanography that I really want to read soon, but yeah, it's how the mood takes you, and sometimes like the weather and I don't know. So yeah, it's a bit random, I suppose. Dilemma number 7, travel. How do you pick what books you bring on vacation with you? I would say generally the same way. I never really got into Kindle. I have read a couple of things on Kindle, but not much. It just doesn't do it for me. So I do tend to take books. So I would err on the side of taking lighter books. So I would take paperbacks and probably slimmer books. And I try to be realistic about what I actually will get read. And at the moment, my pace of reading on holiday is much the same as it is at home, because I'm not ever lounging about and relaxing because I've got 3 kids. So I would still just be reading like odd moments, the same as I do at home. So I generally don't need loads and loads of books, 1 or 2 is fine. So yeah, it's just pretty much the same as just what I would choose to read next. Anyway, I just might take a spare in case I finish it. Number 8, annotate. Do you write or highlight or mark up your books in any way? No. Well, the nearest you're going to get is me putting sticky notes in to mark pages I want to come back to, really only in certain non-fiction books, and really only if I'm actually doing research. I hate writing on pages. When I was at school and I did GCSE English, I remember we did Of Mice and Men by John Steinbeck, and I had this little hardback copy of it that I'd had to buy through the school, and our teacher would tell us, okay, on this page you need to write this note, and you need to have these colours and they mean different things, you've got to underline, you've got to highlight, and annotating up the whole text. And it just killed me. I just absolutely hated it, and that copy of that book I had to throw away in the end, even though it's a story that I totally would read again, but I couldn't ever bring myself to read it, because then you find that you're reading the comments and it's really off-putting. And if you buy a book and find that it's annotated, that's really annoying. I also had, so I've got some anatomy colouring books that I used to use as a teacher. They're really, really good. And so you might have like a picture of a particular organ, and then you've got a key and you've got to like colour in the different parts. So it's a good tool for students to learn the different parts of different things and that kind of stuff, or like label stuff up. And when that arrived, someone had already coloured some of the pages in. I was like, what the hell? I photocopied them. But then that's because they were for someone else. I guess if it was for personal use, then I would just colour it in the book. But yeah, no, I wouldn't mark a page, but I would put something in it to come back to that page, which I think is an altogether different thing. Dilemma number 9, new or backlist, which do you prefer, new releases or backlist books? I think maybe because there are so many backlist books, that's why I read more of those. There are new releases that I really, really look forward to coming out, and so I buy them. I occasionally pre-order things, but backlist, I guess, because there's more of them. But, you know, there's so many books that I haven't read, so yeah, I don't know, I don't really have a preference. If it looks good, then I'll read it. I guess if it's backlist, then there's already reviews and knowledge about that book. But some things really exciting that are coming out. But those, you see, I think the thing is I only really read new if it's non-fiction. That's because, yeah, it's very rare that something fiction coming out I would be excited enough to read it as soon as it came out. But then there are some that I want to read within like the first 6 months or a year. Yeah, I don't know, predominantly backlist. Dilemma number 10, sequels. Do you read books as they are released do you read books as they are released, or wait for an entire series to be published before reading one book? Often I come to series after they're already out, so I'm going back and reading things, but if something came out, yeah, I would read it a book at a time and just wait for them to come out. I mean, Game of Thrones is very much like that, because the whole thing doesn't exist. I'm actually behind on those. Yeah, either. I don't mind. So yeah, if something's already in existence and I'm just going back and reading the whole series, great. And if it's not, then I will read what's already out and then wait for the ones to come out. It's frustrating though when it's left in a way where you really want to know what happens next. And Yeah, but no, yeah, either, don't mind. Tagging, right, let's see. Who shall I tag? I don't know. I think I'm going to tag Bookham Jenna and I Read Past My Bedtime, and I'll leave these links below. I want one more. Who else? And A Sea of Tomes. So that's 3 tags. I hope that you enjoyed that. Let me know your answers to any of the questions below, and have a go at the tag if you feel like it. Please like if you did, and please subscribe for more videos about books and writing and other stuff. Take care, and I'll see you all for my next one. Bye!